Hello and happy Halloween. Welcome to Real Estate Divas and our annual scary story. Today we're focusing on some contractor stories. I've got one that you shouldn't do.
Absolutely.
So right after this. Welcome back to Real Estate Divas. I'm here with my fabulous co-host, Jer'Leigh Thompson. And you're gonna get us started off with you got a contractor scary story today?
Well, we figure it's Halloween. We got to give you all the horror stories whenever it comes to Halloween. So, and we kind of blew it wide open the first time we did a Halloween show. So we listed all of our horror stories.
Yeah.
So
where I had to get naked because of fleas.
Yeah, there were a lot of them, the stolen stoves and reporting people back to their probation officers. So we have a lot of stories. However, so now we got to keep them coming, we're always learning, right? So we got to keep them coming. Mine this year is mainly contractors. There have been a lot of properties this year, and so there's a lot of contractor issues. And then when contractors are in high demand, as you know, then that tends to throw things off. That's a whole nother factor, because now they're like, well, I was working for you, and yes, while I want to finish this, I just got offered a ton of money to go and do this one. So now I'm not as interested in you, and that could be halfway through the freaking deal.
And just getting them to come back and show up.
Oh my gosh. So that literally, obviously I don't think now the market's turning a little bit. I don't think that's going to be an issue, but this last year was a freaking nightmare. That in itself was it was a nightmare to get contractors. It was a nightmare to keep them on the job, keep them coming back. Even though we already agreed on a price, now I've got to renegotiate a price.
You had to renegotiate prices.
I had to renegotiate just to get the job done, because at that point I was like, I just need it done. I need it done, and I need it on the market. We've got to flip this thing, and I don't want to get to the end of the summer and we're, already kind of could see what was coming on the horizon. So it was a nightmare. And then there was one contractor in particular that I found out was sleeping at the house. I'm like,
I love that.
I'm like, what? It'd be one thing if I knew, if I knew that was an issue.
I had a nightmare scenario. This is years ago, when I always watch copper prices. Prices of copper. And if you're working in certain areas of major cities, you really need to watch copper prices, because when copper prices are high, your properties are prone to get broken into and have all of the copper plumbing stripped, and copper wire stripped out of the house, and then they go sell it for scrap. So I was doing 8 houses at once in this one neighborhood, and I had one house hit 3 times in the span of 10 days. And it was like, we would get it, I'd call my guy and go, all right, get it back in there. I know it's gone, let's get everything back in. They put it in, 2 days later, hit again. So we had to redo it 3 times. That's the time where I said, I'm like, do I get a homeless person or something to come stay here?
Right? Because then maybe it would, could I pay my contractor to stay here for a while? You got all your utilities, and sit on the property.
That's about the only time I almost did it. I also almost borrowed a dog, but I found just a radio.
A radio worked.
Made
it seem like there were people in there.
A radio set to Spanish talk radio, specifically Spanish talk radio.
Nice.
Because the people breaking in weren't speaking Spanish, so.
Yeah. Exactly. Well, and then they think people are in there working. Well, I'm not going to intrude while they're working.
And then you have I had all of the lights. I had lights in multiple rooms, especially those front rooms where they would just go on and off at different times at night in the dark.
Works.
It does.
Well, and did you ever, I mean, for all those out there, maybe the first time flippers and things like that, I don't know. I know that I've worked with a lot of investors that have done it and then done it myself 1 or 2 times, is the alarm systems that it's not a system for the house. It's not that you paid somebody to come out and install a system. It's that big honking, like
thing that sits in the middle of your counter.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. In the middle of the room, and it goes, I mean, it blasts if you don't punch that number in right quick.
Yeah, no, I've had them at a couple properties. They're just annoying more than anything.
Yeah. I mean, they're deterrents, but yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's good. I mean, there's all sorts of ways, really just ordering the security company stickers off the internet. You can buy them and you just post those everywhere. Smile, you're on camera, and you put like dummy cameras up that have like little flashing LED lights.
Yeah.
And again, all of those little tricks will keep people
away from the property.
Stripping, because the amount of times I've had, those.
Yep.
You know, and I was even to the point where I suspected one of my contractors was doing it. I never had proof of that.
Yeah.
But
but you know, I mean, you probably had if you had a hunch like that, then you were probably pretty spot on.
Well, it was just, it was like all these supplies would, they'd be there, and then like the next day not, and maybe somebody was watching the house that well, but also don't hire anybody with a drug or alcohol problem.
Well, there's that.
I showed up once, and I figured out that this electrician, who had been phenomenal on like 3 or 4 properties before, 6 months he'd been working for me, and I'm like, okay, he's good, right? He was in one of my units, and he was obviously staying there. He brought a mattress. I'm like, where the heck did you get like an actual mattress?
Yeah.
And there was a prostitute with him. She was obviously a prostitute, and they were both high. And I'm like, this is an electrician. And I'm like, okay.
You're like, this is one of the better trades. One of the better trades. Come on. Or one of the more skilled trades. You had to train for this. This is a license.
So I have a public service announcement of something I experienced. I was on the good side of this thing. Somebody, and I didn't even know this could happen. No clue that this could happen. Somebody had bought a house from me years ago, 4 or 5 years ago, with a fake LLC. So they created the documents, and it's not easy to do.
Yeah.
All you need is Word.
Yeah, I mean, Photoshop.
You can Photoshop your own LLC documents. I'm still not clear as to why this individual decided to do this instead of paying the $300 to get a real LLC. But this is what he decided to do. So he bought 2 properties from me, owner finance. He turned out to be a real loser. In fact, he had borrowed money and owner finance and hard money from guys all over town, never paid them. Then ended up like suing some of them. I mean, just nightmare scenario of a borrower. This is the guy that I put on Facebook and sent like over 300 people his cell phone number and email, and his attorney's cell phone and email, and I got paid off on these 2 properties in 5 days because I was gonna foreclose. Fast forward 5 years to this past January, I find out that a judge has given me those properties back because he purchased it in a fake LLC that never existed.
Wow. That's a horror story gone good, though. That's like
that's for me, but it's a horror story for this guy.
Yeah.
So don't do that. Don't make up fake LLCs.
Well, and I'm incredibly surprised that the title company didn't catch that. They have to. I mean, while you can forge those documents really easily, you run the SOS. I mean, you run I mean, come on. There's going to be a lot of title agents. I mean, yes. I mean, they usually verify that the LLC is, if it's worth its,
or that it's in good standing.
Yeah, they want a good standing report.
But this guy, no, he never registered it at all.
Wow.
But that's what could happen.
Yeah. that's what can happen to you if you do that. But if you're the one that used to own it, you could end up with a win.
I had a phenomenal 2022, and it's not even over. I'm like home runs.
Well, this was a very short, we just wanted to make sure we came on and we said happy Halloween to everybody. We hope y'all are having a phenomenal year and enjoy your Halloween. And wanted to share just a couple of horror stories of the year. I'm sure y'all have them. Feel free to share them with us. It's always fun to dress up. It's our favorite thing. So
I'm Kristin Gerst with Capricorn Mortgage.
And I'm Jer'Leigh Thompson with Texel Real Estate and Real Estate Reformation. Thanks again for joining us. And
subscribe, share.
That's right. And show us your costume.
Happy Halloween.
Bye.